In this video now, let's take a look at our bill screen. So I'm going to go to my applications dropdown, go to accounts payable and click into bills. And I know we've mentioned about views before, and we do have videos that go into more detail on this, but you could hit manage views and create a new view to change around the columns and pull in different fields in here. And those views then do act kind of like reports because they can be exported out of the system. And once you have created new views, if you hit the drop down here, you'll see any views that you've created in this drop down. And let's say you've created a view, but it's outdated now. You've created another one and you want to delete the old one, or you made a mistake with the original one. You want to delete that out of the system. You can go to top level, go into platform services and hit custom views. And this is where all the views across the system are going to live. And you can just hit the delete button out of here for any of those that you want to get rid of. So if I'm on my regular view here, then I can, of course, just type in to my column header here, and I can say, let's say I want to see only paid bills for my state. So another thing that you can do then is use your little percent sign as a wildcard and say that there is CON in the name of a vendor, but you don't know where it appears. You can use the percent sign, and that brings up every vendor that has CON in the name, regardless of where it appears in the name. So you can use these columns and you can filter out by using these really easily as well. Your summary title here is going to tell you where your bills originated from. So anything that just says bills is going to have been created directly within the accounts payable module by adding in here. Imported means that they were done through an import template, which you can also do by hitting import, and then you can download that template to fill in that information to get it back into the system. So imported bills are going to be imported, something that just says bills were created within AP, and then the subcontract invoices, vendor invoices were created within the purchasing module. So anything that was created within bills that's not paid. So if I get rid of my paid state here, let me find these bills that were created within AP and are not paid. I have the option to check off delete, and I can delete them out of the system. So my subcontract invoices or any of the other invoices that came over from purchasing that were created in purchasing cannot be deleted out of AP. You would have to go to purchasing to delete them out of there, because that is where they originated from. And then these motor leases bills that are up here were actually created at top level, so they can't be deleted from the entity, which is where I'm at right now. I would have to go to the top level to delete those out. And then anything that has a payment applied against it cannot be deleted out of the system for audit purposes. So if I go and I type in my state of paid here, I'll see these bills have the option to be reversed out of the system. So you'd have to reverse out bills that have been paid, or if you just needed to make a change on them, if there was a mistake, you could hit edit and you have the option to reclassify. So let me find one here, this Bronson Signs. If I hit edit on this, I have the option to reclassify this bill. I can come down here and I can change the coding. Maybe the GL account was tagged wrong or something like that. So I could change that and then post. You do have to make sure that the period is open if you're doing a reclassification. There are certain scenarios where you cannot do that, but it'll give you an error and let you know if the period is closed and that needs to be reopened in order for you to do that reclassification. So then also on this main screen, you can actually pay the bill right here from the bill screen. So rather than go into pay bills, let's say you just have one bill that you want to pay, you can just hit pay right here from this screen, and it'll bring you into pay bills and show you just that one bill. So let's say we wanted to create a new bill. I'm going to hit add here, and then anything with a red asterisk is required. So of course your vendor is required. I'm going to put in Alpha Insulation here. And my pay to, return to, and terms are going to default in from the vendor setup. And then my due date is going to populate in based off of the terms that that vendor has. Bill number is required. This has been required at the configuration level, and I'm assuming that you would want that required as well, because you don't want duplicate bills and stuff like that. You want to be tracking that number. You can put in a reference number and a description if you like. Attachments are available across Intacct. So you can drop this down and you can add and browse from your computer to add in those attachments, or you can simply drag and drop them in. You can place a bill on hold, and then if it was retainage release, it would be marked off here as retainage release. Down here in your entry screen, then you can hit show defaults and you can default in any of these dimensions for each one of your lines. So let's say you want every line to be billable, you can check that off and apply those defaults. And for every line, it's going to just automatically bring that in. It just saves you having to do that additional coding if it's always going to be the same across your lines. Once you select one of the dimensions down here on your entry screen, you can hit show details. It brings up everything that you can possibly code to this bill. And then you can always hit more actions, edit entries, layout, and move that around so that it makes the most sense for your company and how you want to code your bills in the system. When you're moving that around, you'll put your cursor over it and drag it down until you see this gray box and then drop it in. Or if you're pulling something up from the show details, you're going to, put your cursor over it, drag it up until you see the gray box and drop it in. You will want to say apply changes to all form views. So whether you're creating, editing, or simply viewing a bill, you're going to want to see this layout, how you have done it here, and then save layout. And then that layout will be in place for all of your users. That's going to be across the system. It is not user specific. And you can draft or you can post a bill once it's been put into the system. And then once a bill has been created, you can go into it and you can duplicate a bill. So let's say the bill is, very similar to one that you already have in the system. You can use the duplicate function and then you can just change some of the coding, or maybe the amount is different. And then also on your bills, let's say you have the need to do a joint check. So once the bill has been created, you can come back into the bill and you can see that there's this joint payees tab. So if you click on the joint payee tab, then you can put in, let's say, ABC as my joint payee. So it's going to pay out to Buddy Hawken and ABC. So that would be my joint payee print as on my check. And then once that's been saved, that would come up as a joint check available to be paid out as a joint check within the pay bill screen. So I'll post that. And then, also once your bills have been created, you can come back in and you can view them. And it shows you the posting details on those bills and the history. Also, if there's been a payment applied to them and you view it, it should show you. Let me put in the state of paid here again. So if I view a bill that has been paid, it'll actually show you, the check information for that, and you can click into that and get some more information on that register. So that's your bill screen, just looking at views. More often than not, you're going to be putting in your bills at entity level. It really depends on your setup, but in most cases, you'll be doing your bills at entity level. Most of your transactions will be done at entity level. So the only other thing that I wanted to mention then in this particular video is adjustments. So I can click into adjustments, and anything with a red asterisk again is required, and you can say whether it's a debit memo or a credit memo. So do you want this to create an AP bill, or do you want it to go through as a credit that you can apply then against a bill? So you can do AP adjustments. You could also do a negative AP bill in lieu of adjustments. And let's say you wanted to make an adjustment against a bill that came from the purchasing module. You would actually do a reverse conversion within the purchasing module to do that adjustment, and that's going to be covered in the purchasing classes. But adjustments are available if you need to put them in. And then, you could do a negative AP bill also, and negative line items within your AP bills are going to come through as a credit in your pay bill screen.